Hi, I'm Jane King, and thank you for watching. This show is all about public, private, and blockchain companies. We bring you the innovators behind the companies making the headlines in that space. Some are sponsored, some are invited, all are curated and focused on telling you, the viewers, their story. Here we go. NativeCoin will be used by tribal businesses, enterprises, gaming, sports betting, and the tribal ecosystem worldwide to support daily financial transactions. Now, there are over 560 Native American tribes and 460 Native-run casinos in the US. So NativeCoin will not only give the tribes, but also any person or business the ability to buy, sell, send, purchase, and exchange funds via the blockchain. So good to have you all with us today. And we've got Jay Simmons, who is the Director of Tribal Operations for NativeCoin, Randy Williams, the President of NativeCoin, and also Marcus Guinn, also known as MC1, International Tour Support for Taboo of the Black Eyed Peas, official DJ for Nike N7, and advisor for NativeCoin. So great to have everybody here today. Jay, let's start with you. So I see you have some guests with you today, and I know we've talked in the past, but can you just bring viewers up to date in terms of what NativeCoin is and what you're doing?
Sure, no problem. Thank you, Jane, and thank you again for having NativeCoin back on with you. As always, it's a pleasure. For NativeCoin, we are a sovereign native cryptocurrency, and basically it's created to bring outside investment to all the sovereign lands, connecting tribal and enterprises to non-tribal enterprises, but it's really much bigger than that, but also using the new technology of blockchain. So it's been incredible. We look forward to doing this, and yeah, it's we got a great team now, and we're rocking and rolling.
Yeah, well, I've always really thought this was a cool blockchain application, you know, a really way to bring it forward. So we've got Randy with us here today too. Randy, President of NativeCoin, just to bring us up to date, tell me about you. How did you get involved with the NativeCoin project?
Well, you know, these guys brought it to me. I thought it was a great idea for the tribes. I've worked for tribes my whole life. Currently on my tribal council. Most recently, I've been a CEO for a Native corporation, and this sounded like an opportunity that made sense and is really going to be good for the Native community. Mm-hmm. And so once we get this started, of course, that will just enhance the Native community's ability to track their own money and basically have their own currency. So that's an important aspect of the tribal identity.
Mm-hmm. And then Marcus is with us today too. So Marcus, great to have you with us, and tell me a little bit about you and what attracted you to this NativeCoin project.
Well, Hawaii, Jaje Wite, Marcus. Hello, my name is Marcus Osage, Potawatomi, Delaware, Puerto Rican on my dad's side. I really want to thank you so much for having me along here. So my story is that, you know, I'm kind of an entertainer. So I dabble in entertainment. I DJ, like you said earlier, with Nike N7. I get to work with people like Taboo from the Black Eyed Peas. And one night, Taboo and I were doing an interview show on the internet, and NativeCoin saw us, and we were talking that night about the invisibility factor in tribal communities. Turns out research was done, and one of the number one things that we face in Indigenous America is, before any health disparities or any of the statistical things that we have to try to, that are challenges, the number one thing we battle is our invisibility, that people forget that we're here, or we're replaced with romanticized ideas of us. So we were talking about that night. NativeCoin was watching, and next thing you know, that's where we overlap, is in trying to combat that invisibility. And that's how I came to the party.
Okay, sounds kind of serendipitous. They were watching that night, and here you are. So Randy, I know we've talked about 2021, and it seems like every time that I talk to you guys, there's some kind of update or some new thing. Bring us up to date on where you're looking this year and how things look for NativeCoin.
Well, we're looking at basically an introduction of cryptocurrency to tribes, and that in itself is going to be, the challenge, right? Because not all the tribes understand cryptocurrency, and it's such a new concept that we're moving it forward. That's our goal. Our goal is to place some. After we do that, we look at developing some aspects of how native currency or the native coin will work in the tribal environment. And so those are all challenges that we're going to face this year and that we're going to move forward towards meeting.
Mm-hmm. And Marcus, I mean, how do you see, and you talked a little bit about this, but NativeCoin helping the tribes, and kind of, you talked about the invisibility. This is just a way to bring more attention to the tribal casinos, and what else do you see benefiting?
Well, actually, for me, it's two-pronged with the disclaimer at the front. And so the disclaimer is that, I'm not a native expert, or I think any of us are necessarily indigenous experts for all of the tribes, right? I think it'd be almost inappropriate with over 500 federally recognized tribes. It's inappropriate for one person to try to speak for all, right? But with that said, there are a few things that are in common. And so like prong one is the concept that this country from its foundation had a nation-to-nation relationship with tribes, and that foundational part of our history sometimes gets overlooked. That's where, our distinct, the things that make us distinct isn't just our race, but it's our citizenship. And those distinctions, hopefully our sovereignty, this is a platform that could help illuminate that. So prong two is also challenges some of our invisibility, is this historical relationship to natural resources. In other words, historically, our DNA, we are stewards of abundance. So the idea of us being involved with the world of finance or currency is not new. It's more of an old school in a new school concept. And the potential upside for all the tribes it could be so great that I'm looking forward.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and that's really interesting that you mentioned the diversity of all the different tribes and how they're all kind of have their own unique characteristics. So that's something that has to be considered as you're doing this. So Jay, let's finish up with you. If you could kind of talk about NativeCoin, what you see for the future going forward.
Sure. From the beginning, just like Marcus was talking about, the invisibility factor, that's been the hugest thing. And with NativeCoin, one of our biggest thing is showing, there may be a lot of different Native American tribes, but we're coming together as one voice, and to have a huge voice and to let people know. And my goal is to actually help NativeCoin rewrite history, but also it was talked about many years ago about creating sovereign currency. And now we're at the point with blockchain and everything right now that it's going to become a reality. And I'm just happy to be part of this project. So.
Okay. And then just tell me how somebody can learn more about NativeCoin.
Sure. No problem. They can go to native-coin.com. It has plenty of information on there, but also if people are looking to buy, it shows you a tutorial on there. And, you can always reach us at info@native-coin.com.
Okay. Thank you so much, Jay and Marcus and Randy, for joining me, and I look forward to more updates.
Thank you.
Thanks again, Jane. We appreciate you.
Yep. Thank you.